Hey guys, how's it going? I hope everyone's doing well. Guys, thank you so much for your time and support like always. Guys, today's video I want to go ahead and go over a one over I kind of always wanted to I had go over this guy called Wheat Waffles. I've always kind of wanted to touch the subject of this YouTuber, so I'm gonna go ahead and give my thoughts on one of his videos. So I kind of want to go over this one, which I think is very important. So it's gonna be my review, and I'm gonna just go ahead and give my thoughts based on my experience and based off the experience of my friends, and the experience that I'm referring to is the one in real life, guys. Not necessarily just some dude on the internet. And not no disrespect to Wheat Waffles. That's not my intention to bash him. That's not what this video is. So I just want to go ahead and make that abundantly clear before we begin.
Looks are the most important factor for man's dating success. 2. Women.
Number one, I'd say no. That's not just a soul thing. Keep in mind, women do not think like men. That's a misconception that not just people who took the black pill, but men in general believe, right? And don't get me wrong, looks do play a part, but it's not everything. I mean, there's women that do date ugly dudes that have good personalities. Do keep that in mind also as well. But like I've talked to many women, it just depends on how you make them feel. Okay, number two, women care more about looks than men. This one I'd say no. But let me go ahead and
Men care about looks more than men. 3. This is mainly because women are much more selective in their mate choice. Their dating strategy can be compared to a single-line fisherman trying to catch the highest quality fish. Meanwhile, 4. Most men take whatever they can get. They're like sea trawlers.
Okay. That's true. I mean, women are more selective. Well, I mentioned in one of my videos that, like, I was talking to this dude in high school, and we were on the bus going home, and he says, "Oh, men, with women, there's a checklist of 10 things that a guy must check off, right?" And guy is like, just looks at the woman, okay. So women do have more standards. I can agree with that. Men have no standards, and they choose whatever available to them. Yes, I can agree with that. Yeah, there's dudes that will just take anything. That's true.
Throwing a big net into the ocean, picking up whatever. There's a lot of men out there that will pretty much go with anyone, attractive or unattractive. 5. Looks is becoming even more important for guys now because of the explosion of online dating apps. 6. Looks is also becoming more important because women are exposed to more and more.
Well, the fact that everything is online and everything's on Tinder or Instagram, looks do play a part, right? Today, but you're gonna have better chances in real life because there's gonna be much more factors that are gonna come into play, and so just for the sake of just online, yes. But do you want to be online? Is that really what you want to do? Do you want to just simp for a woman? Because I'll be honest with you, there's going to be tons of beautiful women that are willing to text you, but they don't have any intentions of dating you or seeing you in person. They just want your attention. So keep that in mind. Women have more uh, options every day. Yeah, they do. I can agree with that.
Options daily. What's the fastest way to narrow down 100 options? Easy. Just get rid of anyone short, ugly, bald, and so on. 7. Any man, an 8.
Well, ugly. You could get away with being ugly. You could get away with being short. Boring. That's true. You can't get away with that.
Or above in attractiveness will have the red carpet rolled out for him on online dating apps. 8. In contrast, any man between.
Sorry, but I've seen dudes that are very tall and good looking and muscular, and they get shot down because they have no game. That's very untrue. It's not a guarantee.
5 and 7 in attractiveness will struggle massively on online dating, getting barely any matches and scarcely getting replies to messages.
Okay.
9.
Yeah,
Any man below a 5 will get 0 matches for life. 10. On online dating apps, 60% of likes go to the
Okay, I can agree with that, but then again, you shouldn't be online. You have no business being online. Trying to score, not score, excuse me. Trying to get a girlfriend. It's not going to help you guys. Don't do that. If you want to be online, you're gonna, yeah, go ahead and take this guy's advice. I mean, I'm like I mentioned, my intention is not trying to bash wheat waffles. I'm just saying that if you're solely gonna be online and not bother to go out there in the real world and and have real life experiences, then hey, this is your guy, not me.
top 10% of men.
Now, you want to hear something crazy?
What?
There are some straight up weirdos running for public office. Do you know about Karen Warner running for state senate?
Agree.
Tell me.
11. 80% of the matches go to the top 20%. 12. 95% of matches go to the top 50%. Therefore, 13. Just 5% of matches go to the bottom 50% of guys. 14. These statistics also show that looks are mostly objective. There is very little room for opinion or preference. 15. A man's money now means nothing to women, as they can instead either work for themselves or rely on the government to provide resources instead. 16. Any man.
That is not true. I know some dudes that are engineers and they have a face that a mother only can love. And I can tell you, these guys have good money and they are able to pick up some pretty good dime pieces. Okay. Relationships built on money aren't real love. Well, of course. That's always been true, right?
Gets in a relationship based on his money has no real attraction from the woman. It is all fake love. 17. His only purpose is just to provide resources for her, whether it be pay for her bills, expensive dates, holidays, and so on. 18.
And that's the kind of person we call a simp. And the fact that you're able to find a good woman that's willing to talk to you and be your quote unquote girlfriend online, you are a digital simp. Okay, if you want to be a digital simp, so far, guys, my thoughts on this video so far is, what in the world are you doing online? I mean, that's just a big no. I mean, do you really want to have a fake or some dude maybe that's out there, maybe some scammer in some country that's pretending to be a beautiful woman scamming you for money? Is that what you want? I mean, go out there in real life, man, and talk to women. I mean, wouldn't you want to be around women? I mean, have conversations with them, smell the perfume, look at them in real life, you know, have physical contact with them. I mean, I'd rather have that than just be on Tinder or Instagram. I mean, really? I mean, that's what I'm getting here so far. I mean, that you're just solely focused on being on the internet. Don't when he loses his job? Maybe some. I mean, women do date losers and marry them too, and have their kids.
Any man that gets a relationship mainly because of his money will likely get dumped as soon as he loses his job or investments. 19. Relationships based on money will likely end up as dead bedrooms. The man might get intimacy twice a year, on his birthday and on Christmas. 20.
That is not necessarily true. I'll tell you this, guys. When you get older, women's sex drive, especially around their, after their 20s and going into their 30s, it goes up. So what happens is that, when you're married and you don't have intimacy, have sex with your wife, it's going to cause problems if you delay it. And believe me, she will get frustrated if you don't do that. Believe me, just because it's not going to be one of those things where where women don't want to not give it to you. She's only going to give it to you on special occasions. Believe me, she's going to women are people too. They have sex drives just like men do. You know, that's not what that's what some dudes just don't get.
Confidence doesn't mean much and only helps if the man in question is already attractive. 21.
Guys, I sound like a broken record. Confidence is key. Believe me, no woman is gonna find just because you're gonna be good looking and lack confidence. She's not gonna say, "Oh, how adorable." No, she's not, guys. You could be ugly, short, and have confidence, and still get women. So confident equals arrogance if you're unattractive. Again, where's the evidence of this? Where are the personal anecdotes of this person?
This is because if an unattractive guy is confident, it is often seen as creepy or arrogant. Besides, 22, confidence is very correlated with looks anyway. Statistically speaking, shorter, more unattractive, and overweight people are more likely to get bullied in school, which, no surprise, is going to have a negative effect on a person's confidence and self-esteem. Meanwhile, 23, attractive people are more likely to be appraised from teachers, parents, which in turn boosts their confidence.
I would have to say no, because I'll be honest with you. When I was a teenager, I lacked a lot of self esteem and confidence. And one of the things I can tell you is people did tell me, even people, even girls in high school would tell me I'm attractive. And I would not believe them at all. I mean, I wouldn't have the entire, but some, maybe once, maybe 2 or 3 times a year, I would hear a case like, oh, you know what? My friend thinks you're cute. My friend wants your phone number. I would get that maybe 2 or 3 times every year when I was in high school, but, or sometimes even more, maybe 5 times. But yeah, guys, I mean, I still would not get confidence despite all the compliments that I would get. I still couldn't build that confidence.
24. On top of this, generally people tend to adopt a level of confidence based on how they look. 25. For example, how can this short guy look confident to the camera if he's standing next to this man who's way taller than him?
You guys, look up Aaron Marino, Alpha M. This guy is very short. And believe me, he doesn't, I bet you anything, he doesn't have any trouble picking up ladies. He's married, of course, but believe me, being short does not mean that you're doomed forever. That's not true.
26. How can this man smile with confidence when he has bad teeth? 27. How can this man be confident in his own skin when he has severe facial acne? 28. Status also doesn't matter for these reasons. Because 29, similar to confidence, status is also largely determined by looks. For example, 30, 58% of CEOs are over 6 foot, despite them only making up 15% of the population. Additionally, 31, women tend to only care about status when they have...
That's not true. A lot of CEOs, and CEOs, keep in mind, you could be a CEO of a small company. I mean, I've never talked to CEOs of companies that have market shares in the billions or millions, but I've talked to a lot of millionaires, and they're not necessarily very tall people either. Some are very short. I can tell you that. Then I'm going to tell you this because I used to work with a company that used to help CEOs close deals. With just kind of like we have our personal credit, there's business credit, and I used to work with CEOs that would help them. So that's one of the things that I didn't see them in person, but I can tell you I've talked to some CEOs in person as well. A lot of them are not over 6 feet. I find a lot of this stuff. I'm sure he's got the statistics to prove maybe that fact, but it doesn't seem it. I'm just not buying it all the way. That's what I'm just saying. Status only matters for women age 30 plus. not necessarily. I mean, I don't get it. I don't think so. I've never seen that before. I can tell you that. They can still go after Chad and Tyrone.
Reach settling down age. 32. University-aged girls don't care much about a man's BMW if the man driving it is short, old, and balding. 33. Women only start caring about your personality after you're above their minimum looks threshold. 34. If you're...
About the car part. I will tell you, well, I didn't have a BMW. Well, I've had BMWs, but I had this really, really nice looking Volkswagen Jetta. Really nice looking, really fancy looking. You know, it was black with chrome on the outside, these beige leather seats, beautiful car. And it would pick up women. It would get women's attention, believe me. You don't have to necessarily have a BMW. Believe me, he's wrong. Cars can be powerful tools as well.
Way above a woman's minimum looks threshold, it gets to the point where you can get away with pretty much anything, and in fact your negative personality traits can be seen as positives. See 35. An attractive man who is
I would say that that's not true. Women, I've heard of a lot of stories where women say, oh, this guy's really handsome and good looking, but he was such a jerk. Believe me, I've heard women say that before.
Is perceived as cute. Meanwhile, 36, an unattractive man who is shy is seen as antisocial.
I'm going to sound like a broken record. Wrong.
37, an attractive man who is awkward is seen as funny or adorable. Meanwhile, 38, an unattractive man who is awkward is seen as weird or creepy.
I've served in law enforcement. Amish Shah voted against police funding. He's extreme and dangerous.
39. When an attractive man makes bad jokes, they will be voluntarily laughed at by women as they want to impress him.
Women will laugh at funny jokes if she does find you attractive. But you have to keep in mind, not every woman's going to find the same guy as attractive. Maybe there's going to be some guys that are going to be attractive to not necessarily the majority of women, but a greater percentage of women than some other dudes. Let's just say, I'm just going to use it that way. Well, actually, yeah, I'm going to use it that way, excuse me. That's what but yeah, it depends. Depends. If she
Meanwhile, 40, when an unattractive man makes good jokes, they will be shunned as they will be seen as or uncalled for. 41, an attractive man who is intelligent is perceived as smart. Meanwhile, 42, intelligence on an unattractive man is nerdy or geeky. 43,
but nerdy is seen as a good thing today, though. Not bad. An attractive guy with no friends is a lone wolf. Nah, they can still find you creepy if you're very good looking.
Attractive man with no friends is seen as a lone wolf. Meanwhile, 44, an unattractive man with no friends is seen as a friendless loser. So, that's the first 44 points. And now I've got almost half of the points out the way. Now is a good time to press...
Okay, guys. Oh, excuse me. About the friends part. If you cannot make no friends, like I've mentioned just with the dating expert, you know, if you approach 100 people and none of them want to be your friend, you are the problem. If you can't make a couple of friends, you are the problem, my friend. I'm not, like I mentioned, guys, I'm not trying to be mean. It's a fact.
The like button and leave any thoughts you have in the comments below, as it helps the YouTube algorithm. Anyway, carrying on with the rest of the points. 45. Things such as grooming or improving your appearance don't amount to much and are overrated. This is because...
No, dude. That is not true. I'm sorry, you gotta shower, bro. You gotta shower and take care of yourself. You can't look raggedy, man. You can't look... I mean, like I mentioned before, there's homeless people that can get laid, but that's the exception, guys. It's not something that, you know, like I mentioned, maybe they have some sort of game. These women have no standards. That's why they're able to get laid. But believe me, it does matter, guys. You could be good looking, but the woman can't get past it if you stink or are raggedy, believe me. You can't get away with it.
46. Clothes and haircuts are not tied to your genetics. You can't pass down an expensive haircut to a child. It is an environmental factor.
Really? You're telling me grooming isn't genetically tied? That doesn't even make sense. Grooming is a choice. You made a conscious choice that you're gonna bathe, that you're gonna shower, and you're gonna bathe, excuse me. You're gonna have a good haircut, a trimmed beard, trim your nails, put lotion, take care of your skin, and you're gonna wear good clothes. Guys, that is a conscious choice anybody can make. This has nothing to do with genetics. Being lazy is not genetics either. That is a load of hogwash. No disrespect to Wheat Waffles. I'm just giving my thoughts on all these facts that he's saying.
Therefore, women won't care about it. 47. Additionally, these factors often only work when the man is attractive anyway. Nice clothes look good when worn by attractive men, not the other way round. 48. An unattractive man in the exact same clothes will look terrible. 49. Going to the gym only helps if you are at least average in the face, for which it can dramatically improve your appearance. Meanwhile,
you guys see, no matter what you do, I mean, that's one of the black pill philosophies. No matter what you do, you're just a helpless victim. And I don't roll with that, guys. I mean, I'm not. And also, looking at these two body types, a lot of women are gonna. I've seen videos of this on YouTube as well, and also even in person, I've talked to some women. You see these two guys, right? 5 and 7. A lot of women might think 7 is a narcissist that might spend too much time at the gym, and they'd prefer number 5. Takes care of himself, but isn't obsessed with himself, right? He's not a pretty boy.
50. If you're below average in the face, getting a gym body will unlikely work, as it will be seen as overcompensating. 51. A gym body can look pathetic on a short guy, like he's an aggressive leprechaun. 52. Some men who are even above average in the face.
Again, where is this evidence? Is there any anecdotes that this guy talked to women and there's women that think buff short guys are leprechauns, or I mean, but I don't know.
And height are still genetically limited due to factors such as a poor frame and bad muscle building genetics. 53. If a man has good height who was previously overweight, lowering his body fat percentage in the gym can completely transform his attractiveness. However, 54, this is only the case if the man's underlying facial structure is attractive. If the man is unattractive beneath the fat, he'll barely be.
So, no matter what you do, I mean, you're just doomed, right? According to this so far.
In a better place than he was before. 55. The only difference between a friend and a boyfriend is how physically attractive you are. 56. Most mainstream...
that past photo, guys? Let me see if I could go back.
Dating advice. 55.
Okay.
The only difference between a friend...
Okay, guys, so... the guy on the left where it says friend... I've seen a lot of dudes like this here in town that look like this and they have girlfriends. Is a girlfriend like super attractive? Does she she's okay? Does she have some weight on her? Yeah. Is she like whoa? No. I mean, plain Jane, but that's fine. I mean, guys aren't really that picky. The guy on the right where it says boyfriend, guys like this, I've talked to guys like this and they struggle. They struggle, and I don't know where this is coming from, but I can tell you for sure that guys over to the right can do struggle a lot.
And a boyfriend is how physically attractive you are. 56. Most mainstream dating advice is simply awful, and it only serves to temporarily make people feel better about them.
Mainstream advice is awful. Yeah, I agree with you, Wheat Waffles. It is awful. That's why you shouldn't be just taking any rando's advice. For example, the black pill. No matter what you do, you're screwed. What kind of philosophy is that? That's garbage if you tell me. Like, oh, that's like a quitter's mentality. I'd like to see how people like this that have just a quitting mentality would be like going to high school with. People would actually feel bad for you and just say, "Man, this guy lacks a lot of self confidence." I mean, they'd probably want to go easy on you, and the people that were flat out bullies, man, they would have a man. They would just have a field day with people that lack this much self confidence.
Themselves. 57, for example, phrases such as just be yourself, just put yourself out there, just be presentable and make people laugh are only
No, that's not bad advice. That's actually very practical advice. If you put that into play, eventually results will come. It's a matter of time. But people like this, they overthink. And don't get me wrong, there's people that overthink. And if you overthink, that's fine. I get it. But yeah, just follow this exact stuff. Just be yourself. Be the most pleasant version of yourself. Yeah, you have to put yourself out there. I mean, obviously, what are you gonna do? You're just, a beautiful woman's gonna pop out of nowhere and message you on Instagram or Facebook or something and say, "You are the most handsome man on the planet." Guys, that's not gonna happen. Just make people laugh. Yeah, that's very powerful. Yeah, believe me. I've heard so many stories of how when women tell me, oh, when they met their husbands or their boyfriends, a lot of the things they tell me, oh yeah, I remember so and so. Oh, he used to be so funny when I first met him. That's one of the first things women tell you when they talk about how they met their significant other.
Surface level and don't infiltrate deeper meanings of attraction. 58, in fact, any dating advice that starts with just do whatever is probably going to be terrible, terrible advice. 59, the number of men excluded from the dating market is increasing year after year, and this is mainly because of rejections based on looks. 60, the attractiveness of your face is determined by your...
Again, I mean, where is that statistic coming from? You know, just due to the fact that you're online. If you're online, yeah, I can agree with you. You're doomed forever. But really, I mean, do you really want to be online? Do you really want a digital girlfriend? I mean, is that what you really want? I mean, if that's what you want, then you could just get an AI bot right on the internet. If that's what you want, I mean, why even bother going to Tinder or Instagram, right? The whole purpose of going to Tinder, I imagine, is that there's going to be some sort of, appointment that you're going to set up. You're going to set up a date with a woman. That's the whole purpose of being in Tinder, right? Not she's not going to just text you back and forth. You're not going to be your pen pal. Women that actually want real relationships don't want to be your pen pal. There are some women that do want to be your pen pal, and those are just women that have low self-esteem. You'll never meet in person, and the truth is, she's not interested in you're just her little antidote when she's just feeling down. Is that what you want?
Facial bone structure and is almost entirely genetic. 61. The importance of facial features goes eyes first, then jaw, then hair, then mid-face. However, 62, it is better to score averagely in everything rather than having one or two.
Guys, just forget about all that stuff. Trim your eyebrows, have good skincare routine, shave well, have a good haircut. That's all you can do. I mean, you could be the guy over here on the right side, and the guy on the left side, I don't see anything wrong with him, but the guy on the left side, I mean, I'm pretty sure if he probably wore nice clothes, he smiled, if he smiled, had a good smile, was a good conversationalist, and if the guy, yeah, I think you could definitely pull it off. I mean, if you're the dude on the right that has a receding hairline, but the guy's face, though, it looks like he doesn't want to be bothered.
Fantastic features, along with one outstandingly bad feature. For these two guys, the man on the left is more attractive than the man on the right because he has...
Oh, let me just finish.
Much better consistency. And this is despite having a lower overall score.
Really? Really? I'd like to... I bet you anything... I don't think women... if you get 100 women, and you ask them what their thoughts are on the guy over to the right, that he's a 7 out of 10... No, I mean... Of course no woman's going to want to date some dude that looks like that. I mean, the guy over on the left side... I mean, the guy that says 5 out of 10 over to the left... I mean... He seems normal. The other guy on the right side seems a little weird, but anyway.
We need to tell you about Beth's IUD. Beth got it a couple of years ago to treat her endometriosis, a condition...
63. Surgery may be one of the only potential solutions for men with unattractive features. 64. Height is an attractive trait as it is seen as a display of dominance. 65. The ideal height for men falls between the
height's another thing. I'm going to go ahead and touch that right now. But guys, you're really going to get plastic surgery? You're going to go through all that money just for plastic surgery? I mean, guys, that's insane. I mean, all you got to do is just practice. I mean, I understand, right? Good, like I mentioned, good grooming, take care of your weight, try to, I mean, that's all you can do, really. I mean, don't bother to do, some sort of plastic surgery. I mean, that's just silly. I mean, spending money on something that's not going to guarantee you results, it's not going to guarantee you anything.
6'2" to 6'4" range. However, men who are 6 foot are also in a good spot and don't have anything to worry about. 66. Every inch you have lower than 6 foot.
Really? I mean, so a guy like me that's probably... I'm 5'8", but I'm close to 5'9". So that means I'm in the danger zone? Really? This guy's full of it. He doesn't even know what he's saying. That isn't... Believe me, this guy... He's just pulling stuff out of his ass. So let me go ahead and just put it that way.
Is seen as a small blow to your overall attractiveness. This is the danger zone. Meanwhile, 67, heights 5'7" and below are in the no-go zone. Persistent rejections will occur solely because of height, and this is true even with an attractive face. 68, on the other side of the spectrum, heights taller than 6'4" are still good, but have a few negatives going for them. Namely, it can increase the likelihood of falling into a niche market, also the likelihood of having an elongated horse face or a lanky body and frame will increase. Therefore, the ideal remains at 6'2" to 6'4". That said, those who are 6'5" and above are still better off than the average heighters of 5'9" to...
I have heard of a lot of dudes that are super skinny that have struggled. That is true. I have seen a lot of guys that struggle.
5'11". 70. Balding can destroy a man's chances in the dating market, even if he was successful in the past. 71. Although it is still possible to be attractive if you're bald, the black pill teaches that less than 5% of men can pull off the bald look, and those people would usually need to be attractive to begin with anyway. 72. Balding will give the appearance of being 10 years...
Guys, I've seen people that have been married for years, and they look like the guy on the right that is bald as a cue ball. Believe me. Balding. I mean, you can't control that anyway, right? I mean, what are you going to do? Get hair transplants? Get Rogaine? Go through all that? I mean, if your hair is nice and neat, that's all that matters. I mean, you guys, I'm just at a loss for words. This is absolute baloney based on what I've gone through in real life. It doesn't even make sense.
Is older than your true age. 73. Men reach their attractiveness peak between the ages of 20 and 28. 74. Men younger than the age of 20...
That's not true. I can tell you why. I've had, like for example, my dad. He's had women approach him being in his 60s. You could still pull it off even when you're in your 60s. That is BS, believe me. Maybe for women, yes. But for men, it's different. all this isn't, all this is, how women are, all this is a scale where women are being judged on, not men. Like I mentioned before, women and men do not think the same.
May not have a fully developed face yet, therefore they're not as attractive. Meanwhile, 75, men older than the age of 28 will increasingly face issues caused by aging, such as balding, skin degradation, wrinkling, and so on. 76, this process of aging will likely start off slow, but accelerate rapidly into a man's mid-30s. 77, women reach their peak of attractiveness between the ages...
Told you. The same tool that you're using to measure women, you're using it on men. It doesn't work that way. Men and women are not the same.
18 to 24. 78. The peak of attractiveness for women is narrower than men's because aging affects women faster, and this is due to women's smaller fertility window. As you can see from the chart on the right, men's decline in fertility is much more gradual. 79. The ideal P length is 6 inches or greater. 80. 5 inches is seen as an uphill struggle. Again, this is the danger zone. 81. Anything below 5 puts you in a very difficult situation. 82. Women of all ethnicities...
Just based on the length of your member, this guy has a problem with watching too much porn. Porn is not real life, my man. Porn is not going to be anything at all like real life. Believe me, it's not. There are so many moving parts. Some I guess if you're an unexperienced person, that you might be a young man who's never been in a relationship or never had sexual relationships. Yeah, you think porn is real life, and it couldn't be farther from the truth. I'll tell you that. Women prefer white men. It depends. Every woman's different. Not all Asian women are gonna find white men are attractive. Not all fill in the blank are gonna find just a specific. You can't go off stereotypes.
Have a preference of dating ethnically white men. However, 83, Chad's...
Also, where is he getting these statistics from, right? I would like to know.
Are their own separate class. 84, women will never tell men the truth about just how important looks are. 85, the main reason for this is...
Well, of course she's never going to tell you how important it is. But all you have to do is just based on action. Look at it. I used to work at Walmart, and I can tell you a lot of short, ugly dudes had families. Just based on that goes to show you that it's not everything.
To avoid causing upset. 86. Instead, women will tell men personality matters the most in order to keep those guys in the friend zone and or keep receiving attention and validation from them. 80.
Yeah, that is true. If you're online, the women are just going to keep you along for the ride because they love you texting them back and sending them messages or putting, liking their selfies, commenting on how good they look. Of course, that's what insecure women on the internet want. And you're going to be giving it to them if you're going along with this premise that, that this guy is telling you. Women only date up in value. Well, of course, no woman, for the most part, your average woman who is sane, that's okay in the head, right? Put it this way, guys. If you had a daughter, would you want your daughter to date a guy who's sane, isn't going to be a wife beater, isn't gonna, is gonna be a level-headed guy, a guy that has a job that pays the bills? If you had a daughter, you're gonna want that for her, and it's only natural for a woman who's perfectly sane to want a guy who's gonna be able to provide. I don't find anything wrong in that.
7. Women only date up in terms of value. There is no dating down out of sympathy because she feels bad for the guy who can't find anyone else.
Yeah, of course. I agree.
David Schweikert's record on abortion? It's extremely troubling. In Congress, Schweikert
88. And if there are no men available for her to date up in value, she would rather share a Chad than have a beta all to herself. 89. The only exception to this is where a woman will deliberately date down with a guy in order to seize control of the relationship. 90. This will often lead to things such...
Yeah, there's women that will date down just so they can have the upper hand and the guy has no self-esteem. That's true, but not always the case.
As the woman will decide if and when intimacy happens, or 91, the man needs to compensate for his lack of looks by contributing disproportionately more financially.
Well, that's true. I mean, in the sense that I've heard a lot of my guy friends say that is like if if you want to get intimate but the woman says no, it's not gonna happen. If she says yes and you want to say yes, it's gonna happen. But I can agree with that, but I mean, do you really want to go with just generalizations? I mean, I'd rather be an optimistic, who might, or as people call it now, the blue pill. I mean, which, people say, oh, it's a fantasy, but guys, do you want to live your life just hopeless? I mean, I wouldn't want to be hopeless.
Towards the relationship. 92. Polygamy is becoming an ever more present reality for the future of the dating market. 93. It is impossible for...
I haven't heard of that one before. I haven't heard of a dudes just having multiple girlfriends. I haven't heard of that before. I'm sure there is, but that's a very odd exception. Maybe in my area this doesn't happen, but maybe there's other areas where it does happen. I've heard of that before, but I mean, it's not like there's Mormon cults everywhere. I mean, at least that's what I'm getting the premise of where these ideas are coming from.
Any woman, irrespective of her attractiveness, to not be able to get intimacy within the very next 24 hours. 94. Dating is like supermarket shopping for women, but like trying to find life in outer space for men. 95. Modern women will spend their...
Yeah, women do have more options, yes, that's true, but I mean, come on, it's not that hopeless where men are in outer space and they're looking for life. I mean, come on, it's not that bad. I mean, all you have to do is be a decent human being. I mean, eventually, some women are going to want to date you. I mean, if you're some incel who's just bitter about life and angry at people and being mean on the internet and you don't bother to talk to people and you're probably not even a nice person to deal with when somebody does talk to you, guess what? Life is gonna, not just finding a mate is gonna be like finding life in outer space. Finding friends or anybody that want to have a conversation with you is gonna be like finding that in outer space.
Teens and 20s rejecting men who don't meet their crazy standards. 96. Then, in their 30s, those same women will plead, where are all the good men gone? 97. Modern women will friend-zone unattractive guys in their 20s who have provider potential, therefore keeping him in...
Yeah, women will friend-zone you. And some, from experience, some women will friend-zone you. And even when it's time for them to settle down, they'll still see you as a friend. They're just going to find some other Chad or not other Chad, but some other guy that is more attractive than you than... she's just not attractive to you. You gotta move on. And for me, in my case, I'll be honest with you. When I was in my teens and 20s, I'll tell you, if I got 100 women, right, and if I decided to shoot my shot with them, maybe 30% would say yes, and the other 70% would say no. But guys, 30%, I mean, I'd see that as a win. Wouldn't you? I don't know, but I guess, I don't know.
Orbit. 98. Then, in her 30s, she may try to settle down with the exact same guy so he can provide resources for her. 99. The media encourages men to provide resources and simp over women. For example, just look at Valentine's Day. It's all about the man proving himself and buying gifts for the woman. Guys, believe me, I've worked in restaurants over Valentine's, and I'd say 80% of the time, the man has to pay the bill in full. 20% the bill is split, 0% the woman will be the one to pay. Finally, 100. Women see it as an insult if an unattractive man approaches her, as she thinks he is insinuating he is on her level. So that's all 100 of my point. Insult if an unattractive man approaches.
That I've never heard of that before. I mean, I've never heard of a woman say, "Oh my gosh, my self-esteem is just bad because I had some creep, hitting on me." I've never heard of that. Maybe she found the experience unpleasant, but I wouldn't say she felt insulted. I mean, I've heard of women complain to me like, "I had some creepos. I wouldn't take no as an answer," but they never felt insulted. I don't know. That's new.
As she thinks he is insinuating he is on her level. So that's all 100 of my points of the black pill. Here is a list of all the categories, and I have attached timestamps here so you can re-watch parts of the video if you need to rejig your memory. Anyway, that's the video.
Okay, well, that's kind of thoughtful of him to put timestamps on his video. That's kind of cool. I mean, I gotta give him credit for that. That's kind of nice of him.
Be sure to press the like button and leave any thoughts you have in the comments below, as it helps the YouTube algorithm. Okay.
Okay, guys, and that's the end of the video. I don't know what kind of ad is going to be. That is political. Guys, a lot of this advice, right? And no disrespect to Wheat Waffles. I mean, he makes good content. As a content creator, you got to respect what, the good content that he creates. I just disagree with a lot of these things. A lot of these things aren't based on studies or any type of surveys that were taken, or any type of video. I saw this, and I saw this guy go to Arizona State University, and he tried to ask out 100 women, and all of them said no because he was unattractive. And then they got a attractive guy, and the results were different. There's no evidence to back any of this stuff up. I mean, they're just things that are regurgitated in the black pill community. I mean, if you want to go ahead and listen to guys like this, that's fine. I mean, I'm not telling you to not to, but do you want to be hopeless forever? I mean, just no matter what you do, it's useful, it's futile. I mean, I wouldn't want to live that way. I mean, that's just so negative. If you buy all that stuff, negativity, I mean, it's going to consume your soul. I mean, gosh, heaven forbid that you're going to want to, do something to yourself because you buy this garbage, and that's a problem. You shouldn't be buying negativity, and people just say, "Oh, all this positivity, you're just fooling yourself." Guys, like I mentioned before, you're going to win some and you're going to lose some. That's just life. Do you want to be like that? Do you want to be in a situation where you're just going to be completely hopeless? I mean, I don't know. I could just not even imagine myself, buying the black pill mentality. I mean, at least the red pill guys tell you, hey, you could, get rich and get buff, and the best thing you could hope for is hook up with women. But in regards to having relationships with them, I'll avoid them like the plague. I mean, as stupid as the red pill sounds too, but my goodness, this isn't okay. I mean, wow. If you want to, I'm just at a loss for words, guys, because this is no way to live. Just no matter what you do, you're screwed. Is that the mentality you want to have? Being a quitter? Being a guy who quit? Who let life get the best of them? You've seen a lot of movies where, like Rudy, the Notre Dame football player, everything was stacked against him. He was short. He wasn't a big guy. He didn't have much of athletic ability. The guy struggled academically, and he still got to play for Notre Dame. Those are stories that are inspirational, that, you know, a lot of people say, oh, well, you know, it's make believe. That was not make believe. That was real. That was, you know, that was a real life story of Daniel Rudiger. So do you want to buy into all this garbage? I don't. I mean, you know, I reviewed, I thought it would be a good idea to review this video because I've never even seen this video, but I just wanted to give my thoughts because I thought it would be a good video of all, you know, of all these black pill facts that I've never really gotten into depth, I think, as much as I have in this video. So guys, that's just what I want to say. You know, if you want to be online and be some girl's digital simp where you're gonna, or you know, if you want to have an AI girlfriend, you go ahead and do that. But if you want to go ahead and see results in the real world, go out there and fail until you succeed. That's what needs to happen. You know, so I want to go ahead and leave it there, guys. I'll see you in the next video.